welcome to Spain, hopefully with the S for this week, especially considering that DNF last week, so let's do a little bit better this week, shall we? Especially since I missed out on the straight line speed, trying to nail it a little bit better this time, and, well, ignoring the fact that I'm placed 16th out of 20 at the moment. I have been struggling just a little bit in terms of the getting up to speed, quite literally, for Spain, so a little bit more time in practice than usual, especially considering here in F2 I did, I think, pretty decently. I genuinely don't remember. It's been a while. But we do gain about 2/10 already through Sector 2, and we'll come across through the second sector line and see where we sit in terms of ourselves versus Ocon, because we have gotten shuffled now down to P19. And across the line we go. For timing, we are only a 10th of a second better than Ocon's second sector time, but we'll try and gather everything up and hope that we're doing a little bit better, at least enough to make it into Q2 for this time, through the second to last corner, and then just a little bit of a lift for the final corner, and just keeping it within track limits. Luckily they're not strict, and we come across the line to finish in P14, just barely making it through to Q2. You know what, I'll be happy about that. So we're doing our fun whole little thing of, doing a lap right at the last second, basically. A lap at the end of the session, because, well, that's when the track is best. There's really no variety or no need to do an early lap unless there's actually, rain expected. You might be seeing the time as well. Keep in mind that I did a 1:19.8 for my first lap, so I'm not doing anything spectacular here. I'm trying to set some sort of decent lap. Leclerc, shockingly, at the moment, on the outside looking in terms of his Q2 time. But we are tracking, I think, well enough. We'll see once we catch up to, or make our way past the second sector line. We're the last driver as well to be crossing that line, so we'll see how things fare as we go through the DRS zone. Leclerc's going to make his way into the top 10 easy. Honestly, kind of expected. We are 800ths of a second past Stroll. We go a little bit too wide, and there goes the 800ths of a second that we just had. That could be crucial. We kind of gained that back just a little bit. We'll see how things go here. Behrman and Tsunoda fighting it out for P11 and P12. Tsunoda gets up into the top 10. Do we get up into the top 10 as well? We go a little bit slower than expected through the final corner, and we qualify in P13.
Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya has been on the calendar for over 30 years now, and it has served up some classics. Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari in 1996 in the rain. We have much better weather here today for the Spanish Grand Prix. The Circuit of Barcelona Catalunya today comes equipped with wet weather. It's a long run down from pole position to turn 1 here. It's the first of 16 corners that run to 2.9 miles. We have a mixture of high and low speed corners with 2 DRS zones and that fiddly chicane to close the lap. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Leclerc, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Antonelli, Tsunoda, Hadjar, Colapinto and Lance Stroll, Behrman, Frostbite, Oscar Piastri and Alonso, Albon, Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Gabriel Bortoleto, Hulkenberg and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
Well, leave it to my luck to DNF out of a dry to wet to dry race, or to only start in a wet race, even if it is intermediate conditions and an Alpine deciding to be a little more than necessarily defensive, but we make our way up in front and into the top 10 regardless. Back to P7, where technically, maybe, hopefully we should qualify from, but race pace is always different than qualifying pace. So we do make our way ahead of Tsunoda, which I think is hilarious. and we are in range of one of the Mercedes drivers, that being Antonelli and Hamilton, which I will become very familiar with the rear wings of their cars for quite some time. But first you have to get through the first lap, as I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but regardless, first start here in intermediate conditions, going surprisingly well, all things considered, especially considering that, you know, it's wet conditions. Yeah, sort of. A little bit of understeer, kind of, not fully gripping like I'm expecting it to, but regardless, we do survive the first lap, and we will skip ahead towards our first pit stops, where Norris has decided to go to box. So do we. I looked at the map. I was hoping that some of the lead cars decided to stay out, or at least we're a little bit too late in terms of staying out, or they got the call too late to box, is what I'm trying to say. My brain is a little fried, but regardless, nice fried to the UI bug at the bottom right of the screen. We come in for our set of hard tires, and we get going immediately as Hadjar inadvertently gets held up a little bit. We fall back to P11 as a result of the inevitable chaos on pit road, but we should, hopefully, maybe, work our way to about at least P10 by the time that we get around to the next couple laps. At least it would be nice if we didn't have very cold tires that didn't exactly grip, and we're still fighting the tires here. They are apparently, I think, up to temperature, actually. It's just that the track was still a little bit too slick, I guess. But, of course, none of the AI cars have that because they don't have proper tire simulation. But, hey, look, it's Norris and Antonelli. I know I said Hamilton and Antonelli. I meant Norris and Antonelli, who I would get stuck behind at a distance for quite a few laps. As, well, this is basically how the majority of pit laps went, is just watching Antonelli and Norris battle each other out. And, well, I fumbled the corner exit, and there goes Piastri. The fact that Piastri and Norris are back here in the first place says quite a lot about their performance as well. That's a bush crack and a half, but we'll just ignore that, won't we? But we're going to start to rapid fire through these next few laps, as it is Norris, Antonelli, and Piastri all ahead of me. I go wide here in the last corner, and there goes Fernando Alonso, who goes past. Technically, we did redress that position. We did let that quote-unquote gap go back down. Alonso's going to stay on the right-hand side. We'll give him the room, at least as much room as I think he needs. I'll skip ahead once again to now lap 25, and we'll do the same thing again. Just 4 laps later, Alonso is going to get past us this time, and he'll finally clear us. We have battery, but I'm not really going to use the ERS. So we will try and put the nose of the inside, but just like Alonso had with me, I can't quite get by him or stick the nose to the inside. But a few laps later, Alonso makes his way by Antonelli, who's struggling on these tires. Sainz is looming in my mirrors, and I'm going to commit down to the right-hand side, hard on the brakes. Into turn number 1 we go. On lap number 29, we do get by Kimi Antonelli, as Sainz and Antonelli battle side by side. I'm too busy looking at him to really pay attention, but Antonelli has drastically fallen off the pace. Not sure if he has front wing damage. It would make sense, all things considered, but here comes Carlos Sainz regardless to try and make a pass. Well, nothing doing there on lap number 30. Lap 31 this time, though, he will very clearly sail by, so
No tight concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
I'm not really going to try and battle Sainz there. This time I'm going to try with the fake out, and hard on the brakes I go. This time we get by Sainz, and we'll skip ahead to lap 37. I told you we'd be going rapid fire. As we get the call to box Russell, we are faster than, so go ahead and go down to the right-hand side, get by Russell with ease. Not as devastatingly slow compared to Kimi Antonelli. We do box on lap number 39 up to P4 on track, but of course pit stops have occurred, so we're about to get shuffled back to our quote-unquote right wheel position here in a few moments, but we do switch to the medium tires here to run the last 26 laps on these tires. So we're doing a good, decent amount of the race on the hard tires especially. And on the bright side for us, we do come out ahead of not only George Russell, but Carlos Sainz. He seems to lurk every which way. And after a few laps, we do manage to catch up to Lando Norris, who is on his own And we're just going to completely telegraph the move there into turn number 1. An easy pass as we get up to P6. A few laps later with 22 laps to go, 21 laps to go. Russell, nope, Sainz, one car, has caught up to us. He's able to stick with us, and I'm trying to defend cleanly as much as possible because of the very, very stupid objective of staying ahead of a car that has DRS behind you. Good luck, but we'll move on from that annoying objective and the worst possible timing of said objective as the safety car is deployed. And I decide, you know what, I think we're in a good zone here to decide and box for another set of mediums. We ran quite a little bit on this set, so let's go ahead and box for a new set of mediums. It's available. We're going to go for it. Why not? Sainz decides to stay out, and so does Norris and everybody else. And I'm a little bit miffed by this, but we'll find out why here in a few moments. But regardless, we are still going to go into pit road. We're going to lose some positions, as per usual, but kind of par for the course, all things considered, with pit strategy and the like. And you see we're getting passed by pretty much everybody and their mother, but, well, it is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. And hilariously, we will not be having Gasly. I thought we would here on pit exit. We were not. And then the realization is we're going to try and beat Hulkenberg to the safety car line. That's a heart attack I didn't need today. Slight problem with my strategy here. We're stuck behind Verstappen. Really would have been nice to know that if I had boxed, I would be behind the leader. But, oh well. That's a slight problem on my end. So, suffice to say, the race is already pretty much over for me, but I'm still going to try and fight, all things considered, for at least some resemblance of positions, as Hulkenberg is so slow on exit that we actually have to give back the position to Hulkenberg. And he's actually trying to let the other cars by. Now we give him back the spot. But man, oh man, as we nearly run to the back of Gasly, split Hulkenberg 3 wide with Gasly. And we're being shown the blue flag, yes, but I know we actually have pace. We're on fresh tires, but it's not like it matters. We could potentially be up here battling for a position as we come through on our lap 49, leader lap 50. Just seeing the temptation, a little bit loose there on corner exit, but we managed to stick it out that time by. And look at this, we're actually catching up. We've actually caught up to Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. We could unlap ourselves on merit, and, well, no. No, we will not.
Okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
2 DNFs in a row. Ignore the physics there at the end. I got myself in that situation with the pit strategy, all things considered, but that DNF was just the nail in the coffin, all things considered. On the bright side for us, we're still, I guess, maybe, 1 point behind Isaac Hadjar, so the goal of getting P10 in the standings is faltering a little bit, but still in the battle with Williams and Aston Martin. We just have to actually be better and not make mistakes like that the next week. On to Canada, I guess.